All right, let's start today's class by coming into a comfortable seated position of your choice. So maybe that's in your chair today. Your back up against the seat back of the chair. Maybe you're coming down onto the mat today. Maybe you're sitting on a pillow or a block. You can always come crisscross applesauce, or maybe send your legs out long. And even sitting on the ground, you might want to bring your back up against a surface if that feels like a supportive way for you to sit this set morning. As we start to settle in, maybe we allow our eyes to close, and maybe we simply soften our gaze, letting our breath start to deepen, feeling our inhale and our exhale. Letting it become a little smoother, a little deeper, and a little more intentional with each deep exhale. We'll begin to notice the surfaces we're resting against, the boundaries between ourselves and the things that are supporting us here today. And as we continue to settle in, we'll dial that awareness into our surroundings. Maybe we begin to notice the energy of the room around us. Maybe we feel the temperature of the air against our skin. Maybe as we take that deep breath, an aroma wafts into our olfactory glands. Or maybe you notice the distant sounds of your environment. That same attention to detail. I want us to start to draw our awareness into that breath. As we breathe in, we fill our lungs to capacity. And then we'll pause at the top, holding the breath for a count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then exhaling slowly, letting all the air empty out of your lungs till you reach the bottom of your breath. And then we'll pause for another 5 count. Your inhales are long and steady. Your exhales are long and steady. And then taking a 5-minute pause in between your inhale and your exhale. Not a 5-minute, a 5-moment, a 5 count. And we'll continue with that cycle of breath. Breathing in, pausing, holding for 5, and then exhaling it out. Pausing for 5. And we'll continue that breath as it feels comfortable. And if at any point you want to release the count and just let it happen a little bit more naturally, long inhale, medium pause, slow exhale, medium pause. Continuing just like that. What a gift it is to be alive. As humans, we can become so consumed with our difficulties that we often forget to celebrate the miracle of simply being alive. Being human is the greatest gift. To be able to breathe, to feel, to experience the world is something worth celebrating every day. We wake up and our minds can sometimes, and most often, automatically begin to sort through our to-do list our problems, even our distractions. But instead, can we wake up and celebrate our precious life? Can we feel the air on your skin, the breath in your lungs, the beating of our hearts? Can we feel our aliveness and celebrate it? Because when we do, we find that little joys are all around us, reminding us of the possibilities of happiness that are here in the present. I often talk about joy and mention that you can pick something small, something that isn't obvious, little joys, such as how the sun warms your face, or the sounds of birds and a tree. They remind me of the thrill of being alive, these little things. For it's those little joys that we often take for granted, and sometimes even miss completely. So as we navigate our world, let us open our eyes, our ears, and even our hearts to the little joys that are everywhere. Joy is here, and joy is waiting for you. We'll start to find a more natural, easy breathing pattern, returning to our normal in and out breath, releasing the breathing exercise if you hadn't already. And then we'll take a moment to offer ourselves gratitude. Maybe for the aliveness that we are here in this moment today, or maybe for anything else that feels authentic to you in this moment. As you're ready, start to wiggle fingers and toes. We'll flutter the eyes open. We'll start to add a little bit of gentle movement into our practice today. And we'll start by coming with our legs stretched out long in a seated staff position. You can even peel the toes back if that feels supportive, letting them come up towards your shins, feeling it along the backs of the legs and the shins. You can keep a gentle bend in the knees or really press out through the heels, starting to straighten those legs out. And then feel the length in the spine. Really sit up tall. You can bring your hands down by your hips, maybe even press into your seat or the floor to lengthen the spine just a little bit more, feeling like maybe you're releasing the pressure in the lower back by pressing on the floor, or maybe a couple of props next to your hip. All right, great job. For our next movement, go ahead and bring a bend into your knees and bring your feet and your heels down to the floor about hip distance apart. We're going to take what's called a loving boat here. If you're in a chair, it can feel nice to bring your feet up a little bit higher, your knees a little higher than your hips here, maybe bringing some kind of prop under your feet for this movement. And if you're seated on the floor, it'll look a lot like a constructive rest. But again, those toes can be lifted or down. It's up to you. And then we'll start to lengthen our spine just like we did in that seated staff. And with an exhale, we'll start to hinge forward, bringing our torso down towards our legs. Now we can wrap our arms around the outside of our knees, clasping our hands, or you could wrap them under your legs if that feels good in your body. And then start to curl your chin down towards your chest, finding this nice little cocoon, this moment of solitude, taking a deep breath in, and slow breath out. And even here, can you allow yourself to find something to be joyful about? Great job. With an inhale, bring your spine back up to straight. We'll send our left leg long and we'll start to bring our right knee in towards our torso, getting a little bit of a hip compression here as we draw that knee in. And then let's point and flex the toes a couple times. And even take a few circles with that lifted foot. And then reverse it. All right, if you're on the mat, go ahead and drop that foot inside of your other leg. And we're going to take a sage twist here. We'll all sit up a little bit taller. We'll take our left hand, begin to hug our right knee, and then that right hand can either come to your chair or the floor behind you as you start to twist towards your right shoulder. Each inhale presses into the hand behind you, lengthening the spine, and each exhale softens you into that sage twist. All right, with our exhale, begin to unwind the spine. We'll switch sides, letting right leg come out long, starting to hug that left knee in towards your torso, finding a few point and flexes with the foot, and then a couple of circles in one direction, and then the other. Beautiful job. Sit up a little taller on your next inhale. Our exhale, we take our right hand to capture that left knee. Our left hand comes behind us to the floor, to the chair, as we start to twist our right shoulder towards our left knee. Keeping the spine straight on your inhale, twisting and softening on your exhale. Great job. All righty, let's exhale, come back through center, send those legs out long. From here, we're going to come into a half or full heroes, depending on where you're at. You're in the chair, you're going to come over to the right side and take your half heroes, letting that foot come behind you, dropping that knee towards the floor, starting to feel that stretch through your right shin. And if you're taking floor exercises, you're welcome to come into a full heroes, both knees bent, sitting on hips or heels or a block. And then let's take our right hand out in front of us and we'll start to pull the fingertips down towards the floor and push the palm out in front of us. We're going to take some wrist stretches here. As we inhale, we pull one finger back towards our wrist and body. And as we exhale, we release. We'll move one finger at a time all the way through each of our fingers. One full breath for each stretch. You should feel it along the top of your wrist and the fingers as well. And you might feel a crack or two. And then when you get to a thumb, you're going to pull it out to the side and back versus down. We don't want to pull the thumb in any direction it doesn't want to go. Maybe a shake or a wiggle afterwards. And then let's go ahead and switch to the other side if you're in a chair. So we're going to come over to the left side to take our half heroes. Take that knee back. And then we'll start on that left arm. Inhale to pull back. Exhale to release. Moving through each of your fingers at your own pace. Once you're done, another shake or a wiggle, and then let's bring our hands together, pet together, interlacing the fingers, creating a little fist, and start to twirl and whirl those wrists around. Maybe you take a wave or any other movement here that's going to feel good for your wrist. You could even let the palms circle each other. So we're just taking a few moments to move through our wrists just a little bit. All right, great job. Go ahead and release your hero's pose. We'll come into a tabletop if we're on the floor, coming into hands and knees. And if we're on our chair, we're going to come into our seated mountain, making sure our feet are now on the floor, our hips and knees are in alignment. We're sitting up tall through the spine. And let's straighten out and engage our core no matter where we're at. So we're going to start with this next movement by envisioning our cow pose. So with our cow pose, we're going to pull our belly forward or down, start to arch those shoulder blades back. Maybe you lift your chin or gaze just a little bit. Hold for just a pause. And then exhale, bring it back to that flat spine. So we're not going to go through to cat yet. We're just going to play here with this cow arch of the back. So take it at your own pace, playing with going between a flat back and your cow pose. Noticing that bit of arch in the lower spine as you do. We're going to be calling on that throughout our practice. So in different poses. So really focusing in on how that feels. Drawing your abdominal muscles down and arching the spine. Great job. All right, come back to your flat back. And then with our next inhale, find your angry cat. Rounding the spine either towards your chair or the ceiling, letting your shoulders roll towards your ears. And then find a little flow between the two, cat, cow. Throughout the practice today, I'm going to ask you to be a little playful at different times, finding that joy throughout our practice. Great job. All righty, last breath here. And then let's come into, on the ground, a plank or a half plank. So we'll just start to shift our hips forward, hands under the shoulders, knees down or toes down, whatever feels better for your body. If we're taking our chair poses today, maybe this is when you take on a wall or a piece of furniture. We're going to have a little bit of movement throughout this, so you want to make sure you're feeling stable and that your furniture that you're resting against isn't going to shift while you're moving. And you'll also come into a plank, hands about shoulder distance apart, a little bit of lean towards the surface you're resting on. Beautiful job, whether you're in your plank or your half plank. And with our next exhale, begin to lift the hips back, taking a downward facing dog. Bend through the knees, maybe pedal it out just a little bit, lifting one heel and then the other. And then find a little bit of stillness in your downward facing dog. We're going to find just a little bit of flow movement here, that invitation to find a little joy, a little playfulness. So as we inhale, we begin to roll through our spine like that angry cat as we land in our plank or half plank, straight spine. And then as we exhale, we round through the spine back to our downward facing dog. Taking it at our own pace. This could be very fast or very slow. Really find that playfulness between the wave of your movement of your body. Great job. Exhale, finding your downward facing dog. And then we're going to move from here into a side plank variation. So if you're on the wall, go ahead and move your right hand directly under your face and start to peel yourself open. So your wrists and shoulders are in a straight line, but you're still loading the joint by having a little bit of lean to where you're at. If you were taking these from a floor position, drop both knees and then come into that same side plank, letting that bottom knee support you as you start to stack wrist and shoulders. Beautiful job here. And then let's take that top or outside arm and find some rotation through the shoulder socket. Again, moving only as fast or slow as feels good for that shoulder. Maybe inviting a little playfulness. Maybe you swoop the arm or find a different movement that would feel really nice. And then reverse it. Beautiful job. Inhale, side plank of your choice. Exhale, move through tabletop or downward dog. And let's take it to your second option. Moving right hand to the center and peeling out the left hand. Or if you went the other side, feel free to just make sure you're getting both sides even. Beautiful job. Start to find some movement in that top shoulder. Great job. Exhale. Come back through your tabletop or downward facing dog for one big breath. Maybe with an exhale, you sigh it all out. And then begin to look back towards your feet and walk your hands into your forward fold, your standing forward fold. Hands can rest on your prop, your legs, the floor. Start to drop the head towards the mat. Nice generous bend in your knees. Maybe you start to take opposite elbows and take a little ragdoll swaying from side to side, letting the head shake yes or no, sliding the jaw from side to side, or letting out those sighs on your exhale. Just really let anything go out of you that is keeping you wound up or tight or tense. And let's find a little bit of stillness. We'll allow our hands to release to their previous location. We'll press into them to lift halfway, figure 7, gaze stays down. Spine is in that straight position. Exhale to release. Drop the hips and take a slow roll all the way up to standing tall mountain as arms circle up and overhead. Reach them up. Right hand can come to hip or maybe to a prop, but we're going to start to lean into the right, taking it into a side bend. Let's inhale to come back through center. Exhale to the left. Inhale through center. We'll cactus the arms and then twist at the hips to the right. Drop the arms and swing them back towards the ceiling. Cactus the arms and turn to the left. Drop the arms and swing them towards the ceiling. Great job. With our next exhale, we'll bring those hands behind our hips. We'll interlace the fingers, grab opposite wrist, opposite elbows. Maybe we simply grab our shirt, or maybe we have something long and skinny like a strap that we're holding behind our back. But wherever we're at, we're drawing our knuckles towards the ground. We're lifting our heart. We're lifting our chin just enough that we're not losing any balance. And then start to find a little bob and weave in the knees and the hips and the ankles. Maybe a sway and twist or any other movement. Again, finding a little joy or a little playfulness, however you can in this moment. Great job. Go ahead and exhale, release, arms circle up. Exhale, rain it down into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. We're going to bring our right hand directly under our face. And as we do, we're going to pull the left hand like a bow and arrow back behind us. Exhale to release. Switch sides. Pull your bow and arrow. Open it up. Exhale to release back through center. Hinge and forward. Inhale, take a slight roll as you come back to your mountain. Beautiful job. We've been working a little bit on the upper body and the spine today. Let's go ahead and take it into the lower body movement next. So we're going to take our right foot back. We're going to step it into high lunge. Feel free to bend both knees, stack hips and shoulders. Always welcome to hold on to a prop for a little more support. You can keep your hands on your hips, bring them to a prayer, or maybe you want to bring them alongside the ears, reaching up towards the ceiling. Really feel like you're pulling your thighs towards each other and engaging your abdominals to keep this strong throughout the body. Great job. With the next inhale, straighten that front leg and then take it into a hinge over that front leg, pyramid pose. Inhale, bring a bend to that front knee, step it in, mountain. Okay, let's take that side too. Step second side back. Really build your foundation. If you're feeling wobbly, that means you need to widen your stance. We don't need to be on a balance beam in any of our poses. We can always turn them into railroad tracks. Widening our stance just a little bit more to give us stability. As we keep a bend in both knees, it could be a little bend or a deep bend. It's up to us. Squeezing our thighs, engaging our core. And maybe finding that hand placement that feels oh so good. Maybe it's a different one than we did last time. Up to you. Great job. With our next inhale, we're going to straighten that front leg. And exhale, find your pyramid pose. Folding over that front leg. And as always, if you notice the back of the knee, the ligament is where the majority of the stretch is. See what it might feel like to bring a slight bend into the knee, moving that stretch into the thigh muscle. Great job. Inhale, bring it back through high lunge, and then step the back foot in. Mountain pose. Beautiful job. All righty, we're going to take that downward dog. We're going to go a little bit more playful with it this time. So again, you're welcome to take the floor downward dog or a wall downward dog or a piece of furniture. But make sure wherever you're at, you're feeling like you're sturdy. You're not going to lose your balance. All righty, as we exhale, start to bring your hips back. Letting your head drop in between the arms. Feel free to pedal things out if you'd like. Take 3 big breaths and sigh it out on the exhale. Beautiful. With our next inhale, bring it to your plank variation or half plank. And then we're going to move back into side plank. So right hand comes under your face. Start to peel your body open. All right. Now for this, we're going to play with a pose called Wild Thing. So that your feet can either stay together if you're standing, or you can start to spread one out a little bit more. You can keep it in line, or you can start to bring it back behind you. But always keep 1, 2, 3 points of your body touching a surface for support. Okay? If you're on the ground, that bottom knee is going to be bent. That top leg Again, can be in a straight line, or you can start to bring it back behind you, just like the other option. We're all gonna take that top arm, wiggle our fingers, and then start to peel that arm back behind your head, behind your shoulder. And this is where you'll notice that cow arch the lower spine. Beautiful job. With our exhale, we're going to come back to an alignment of side plank. And then we're going to take it into a thread the needle variation. So we'll take that wiggly fingers at the top, we'll bring it across our body, and in between our body and the surfaces we are resting on, pulling the fingertips back as far as we can, and then find the extreme between these 2 points, opening the shoulder up and then threading the needle. Again, take fast or slow, 3 points touching the surfaces for support as you find your playful movement. All right, last time. Inhale to open it up, side plank. Exhale, find your downward dog variation for release. Take one big breath and a huge sigh out. And then as you're ready, let's take it to the other side. First, coming into our side plank variation, opening it up, choosing what to do with that outer leg. You can either keep it in line, or you can start to bring it a little bit behind you if that feels stable. And then as you're ready, opening up that outer arm, finding that deep arch in your spine as you open things up. For 3, for 2, and on 1, we start to thread the needle. Find your movement between the 2. Beautiful job. Last one. Maybe add some flair. Back to side plank. Exhale to downward facing dog. Beautiful job. From here, look back at your feet and start to walk your hands into your forward fold. Great job. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, tall mountain. Hands reach up. Right hand down, side bend. Left hand down, side bend. Inhale through center, cactus and twist. Back through center, cactus and twist. Inhale through center. Exhale, swim the hands behind you. Take the funny grip as you take the bind that you took before, maybe a different one this time if this shoulder feels a little different. Making the opposite thumb on top or changing it up in some way. And then just like before, find a little stillness, a little playfulness, a little movement. Move whatever part of your body is moving, asking to be moved in whatever way it's asking to be moved. Little dance here that no one can see but you. You're doing great. All right, find your stillness. Release into mountain pose. Beautiful job today. All righty. For these next few poses, if you're taking chair poses, we're actually going to come back into our chair. We're going to bend our left knee and start to send our right leg out long to the side. If you're taking 4 poses, we're going to come into a gate pose. So you come down onto your knees, and then you'll send your right leg long, just like in the chair. So no matter where we're at, on the floor or in the chair, our left side is really straight from our knee all the way up. Maybe you lift your arm up and overhead. And then bring your right hand to your hip or to your chair for support. And then we're going to start to find a side bend here, letting that right arm slide down the leg if that feels supportive for us. Finding as much of a lean as feels good over to the right side, noticing that rib cage on the left as it opens with each breath. Great job. Inhale to come back through center. Bring right leg either bent to stand on or into seated mountain. And then we're going to start to bring our hands back by our hips. If you're on the ground, you can put them on your hips anywhere that feels good. And if you're seated in the chair, you can bring them to the top of the chair or the back of the chair, wherever feels good. Even the side would be okay. But we're going to start to press into those hands and find a camel here by pulling our hips forward. Our heart lifts, our chin lifts, so shoulder blades squeeze. So even deeper than cow pose. Beautiful. Exhale to release, bringing spine straight. And then let's take that second side. Right knee stays bent. Left leg extends out long. We inhale to lift up that right arm, creating that straight line from fingertips to knee. And then either staying with our hand on our leg or keeping it on the chair, we begin to lean over towards the left. And you're welcome to slide the hand down the leg or even rest it on a prop that feels more supportive. Great job. Inhale back through center. Bring both knees in. Hands come down to the floor or to your jean pockets or to the chair. We start to find the camel pose. We pull our hips forward. We squeeze our shoulder blades back. Lifting our heart, we're lifting our chin. Great job. Exhale to coming back to a straight spine. We'll take one more standing pose, our balance challenge for today. So coming up to standing. As always with balance challenges, you're welcome to keep a chair nearby or a wall nearby, or maybe have a strap. Or for this one, it can be really nice to have some props to stack like blocks. So we're going to take a standing knee to forehead pose. So the way this works, it's very similar to a pose we take often. We start to shift the weight to one side. We begin to lift the right heel. You can keep the toes planted for more support, or you can start to hug that knee in towards your body, kind of like we did from that sage twist we started class with. Now here's where I was talking about, maybe you bring it up onto a prop of your choice. Maybe you bring a strap around your knee, or you're holding on for a little balance. But make sure wherever you're at, you're finding a spot on the floor that's not moving. You're keeping a bend in your standing leg. You're really reaching the top of your head towards the ceiling. And if this is enough of a balance for you, you are welcome to stay right here. But for just a little bit more of a challenge, maybe you start to round your forehead towards your knee. Now, you don't need to make actual contact with it. The goal here is not to fall out of the one-legged stand. So keep your eyes open, fixed on a spot on the floor that's not moving. Again, maybe if you have something sturdy like a chair or something under your leg, you can put that forehead all the way to the knee and it feels safe, and that is great. But making sure that you're finding what feels good for you. One more breath here. If you took the curl of the spine, start to bring it back to straight. And then as you exhale, lower that right foot to the mat. Great job. All right, we'll take that on the second side. Shift your weight to the right, begin to lift that left heel. Maybe the toes stay, or maybe they lift, getting that knee all the way up to wherever feels good for you. You're standing tall, you have a bend in your standing knee, you're finding a spot that's not moving. And as always, you could stay here. Another option, maybe your back is against the wall for support. And maybe you start to lean your forehead towards your knee. If that's part of your practice today, it's not required or necessary. But really work if you're taking this option not to fall into the lifted side. Doing great. Just another breath in whichever variation you're taking. Inhale to straighten the spine. Exhale to release the leg. Great job. Give yourself a pat on the back. Sometimes challenge can bring you joy as well. All righty. From here, we're going to come back into a seated position of our choice. So either at the edge of our chair or maybe on the ground on a prop of our choice. We're going to take a butterfly pose here. So we're going to bring the soles of the feet together, letting those knees open up wide. And then allow your palms to rest face up on your legs as you allow the shoulders to start to fall away from the ears. And then let's drop our chin down towards our chest, opening up through the back of the neck. Take a deep breath. Sigh your exhale. Start to find some movement in the neck. Maybe move your chin from one shoulder to the other. Maybe you want to take full circles, going all the way around in one direction a couple of times. And then reversing it and going in the other direction a couple of times. Maybe you feel a little tight or squeaky in a particular place and you'd like to just hold right there. That's always a great option. We'll take just about 3 more breaths in this next neck exploration. Great job. Now, if this feels like enough of a stretch for you, you're welcome to stay right here. But if you'd like to start to sink forward into a forward fold over those legs, it might feel really nice to get a little deeper into the butterfly. If you took the hinge forward, begin to inhale, bringing yourself back up to a straight spine. We'll bring our hands on either side of our legs, letting the knees come in together. And we'll start to come towards the end of class the way we started class, by sending the legs out long in our seated staff, bringing hands down by the hips, lengthening the spine. And then maybe circle hands overhead. Maybe hold on to your chair. But with our next exhale, we're going to start to hinge over our legs, a little or a lot. And if you use that strap, it's always great if you want to wrap it around the balls of your feet, holding the strap. You're welcome to curl your chin in towards your chest. But if you have osteoporosis or osteopenia, be mindful that instead of rounding through the spine into that deep round, it's more beneficial if you pull your heart towards your toes. This will keep your spine a little bit straighter and less pressure on those lower vertebrae. All right, great job here. One last breath. Great job. As we inhale, I want you to start to point your toes away from you. And then maybe if you're not holding your chair, bring your hands to a interlaced position where you could point your fingers or your pointer fingers. And then we're going to use our abdominal muscles to start to roll ourselves into a straight position or a straight-ish position. If you're on the floor, it's on your back. If you're in the chair, you're at a bit of an angle, fingers and toes in opposite directions. Great job. With your exhale, allow your hands to come down by your hips. If you're in the chair, bring a bend to your knees, feet flat on the floor, and maybe scoot your hips back all the way to the back of your seat. We're going to take a fish pose here. So we'll start to roll our shoulders back over the chair. Now your hands can rest by your sides. They can stay on your laps. If available, you can bring them back a little bit more so you can open up. And if you're doing this from the ground position, you can also bring a bend into your knees if the constructive rest feels better for you. Begin to walk your elbows under your shoulders or under your back just a little bit, and then really lift your heart, arch through the upper spine, keeping the neck straight here. Be mindful not to dump the head too far back. The weight of the head can sometimes put strain on the neck muscles. You're doing a beautiful, beautiful job today. One more breath and fish. Exhale to release the back bend, coming all the way flat on the back if you're on the mat, or coming into your reclined position in the chair. And if y'all know me, I like a pillow in that reclined position just to give me a little extra support since we'll be here for just a few moments. And then let's draw our right knee in towards our body, just like, again, we started class with just a little bit, or while we were in that head to knee pose. And maybe see what it would feel like to draw your forehead towards your knees in this reclined position. Great job. Inhale to bring the head back down or straight. And then we're going to take it into a twist, bringing that right leg over to the left side of the body. Now, if you're in the chair, you could cross at the ankles, you could cross at the knees, or you could just stack the knees and bring them both over to the left side. If you're on the ground, you may want to scoot your hips just a little to one side before you take that knee over to the other side. And if keeping the one leg straight and one leg bent is not comfortable in your body, you can also stack both knees as well. Or take this twist in any way that feels good for you. Okay, beautiful job. Exhale to come back through center. Switch sides, left knee comes in. Right leg is either bent or straight. And then as you're ready, take it into a twist. Over to the right side. Exhale to come back through center. We'll curl into our version of a ball. So maybe those knees come up towards your torso, or maybe your torso comes down toward your knees. Maybe you find a rock from side to side, or even along the spine if you're on the floor. And we cannot end a joyful practice without a happy baby. So draw that right knee if you're in the chair outside of the hip, and then move to the left side when you're ready. If you're on the mat, you can take both sides at once. Find any rock or roll, any movement or straightening that feels good for you as you explore both of these two sides. Great job. All righty. Our next exhale releases us as we start to move towards our final resting pose. From here, you can add pillows, you can add blankets, blocks. Maybe you take the legs up the wall or you move to a couch or a comfortable chair nearby. Maybe stay right where you are because that's super comfy already. Make any movements, make any adjustments so that you can start to relax on command. And maybe we'll allow our eyes to close, or maybe we'll simply soften our gaze as you let your hands begin to rest gently, the fingers uncurling. Really take a deep breath in, slowly exhaling, and as you transition inward, releasing any tension in your body. Begin to allow yourself to fully arrive in this moment. Feel the support of the props and the ground underneath of you. And see if you can begin to let your body melt into those surfaces as your mind starts to settle into stillness. As you continue to breathe intentionally, deeply, we'll bring our attention to our theme of joy. Joy in being alive, joy in the little moments that make life beautiful. Can you, in this moment, allow yourself to feel a sense of gratitude for being here in this moment with the gift of life? Now I invite you to bring to mind one amazing moment from either your day today or yesterday or the day before. Something simple, maybe an interaction. Maybe it was a moment of peace, a smile from a loved one, or any small moment that brought you joy. And then hold this moment in your mind. Let it begin to fill your heart with its warmth. We'll begin to slow this moment down together and to explore it with our senses. We'll begin to picture the scene vividly in our mind as we notice the colors or the quality of light and the details of our surroundings when we have that moment. Maybe you see faces or expressions, or even the objects that were present in the moment. Begin to recall any sounds you heard. Was that the laughter of a friend? The rustling of autumn leaves? Chirping of a bird? Or perhaps a gentle melody that left a smile on our face? Let these sounds resonate within you for a moment. Now, searching our memory, bringing to mind any sense that might have been present, any smells. Maybe it was the aroma of fresh tea or coffee, the fragrance of perfume or flowers, or the simple earthy smell of the outdoors. Allow these scents to waft back and invoke the joy you felt in that moment. Was there a taste associated with that moment? If so, remember it. Maybe it was from a delicious bite of food or a refreshing sip of water or the sweetness of a lovely treat. Relish the moment and the memory of this taste. Finally, recall the sensations you felt. The warmth of the sun on your skin, the texture of loved one's hand, or the comfort of your favorite chair. Let these tactile memories enhance your moment of joy. As we immerse ourselves in our sensations, can you feel the joy of this moment expanding within you? Can you allow it to fill your heart, your mind, your entire being, until you let this joy become a part of you, something you can carry with you throughout your day? Take a moment to express gratitude for your practice today, for the time you have dedicated to experiencing joy. Maybe even thank yourself for being open to the beauty and happiness that life offers, knowing that you can carry this sense of joy and gratitude with you as you go about your day, remembering that joy is always within reach in the little moments of life. When you're ready, take the deepest breath of your day so far. Begin to wiggle fingers and toes, gently reawakening your body. Maybe roll your shoulders or stretch your arms and bring your awareness back into your space. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful day. Until next time.